Hi everybody, I'm James from my Single Dad Life Facebook blog. I just want to talk today about a topic that has really been on my mind for a little while, but it really kind of came to a head today. I was actually in a training session at work today, and it was all about your behavioral style and how you interact with other people at work. And so I want to talk today just briefly about flexing your style and what that actually means. And so the development day that we had today was with a bunch of coworkers and staff that I work with. And we talked about our work styles and how we interact with other people and how we need to flex those styles sometimes to, not only create harmony in the workplace, but also to get work done. And so when it comes to a workplace, you're looking at objectives and how do you make the best decisions in interactions with other people so that you can accomplish an organizational goal. And I thought this really applies to kind of all aspects of our life. And obviously when I write about things on my Facebook blog about my interactions with other people and with kids and making the best decisions for being a single parent, I thought that this was really applicable for how we interact with other people. So this day was all about recognition, about flexing your style, recognizing other people's style and adjusting your styles to maybe create harmony in the relationship. One thing that I took away that really just kind of struck a chord with me today was when the facilitator said one thing that he's learned throughout his life was you cannot change other people. You can only change yourself. And that's the only thing that you know for sure is that you can change how your style is in order to interact with other people. And so when it comes to relationships in your life, you really need to look at your life and how you can flex and how you can change your style to be able to accommodate other people. When I look at friendships in my life, I have sometimes drawn an artificial line in the sand and said, if this person doesn't meet up to my expectation in this area of life, or if I reach out to that person and that person doesn't reach out back to me a certain number of times, this relationship isn't going to work and I'm done with this relationship. And I wrote in my previous Facebook blog about how sometimes there's relationships that you need to move away from. And that's absolutely 100% true. There's some relationships that you need to say this is no longer, it's not serving a purpose, or it's extremely one-sided and that it's an unhealthy relationship. And I think you absolutely need to get away from those relationships. But where it sometimes becomes dangerous is where we draw this line in the sand with friends in our life and we've created this kind of artificial bar where we've said, if you don't live up to this standard, you can't be in my life. And sometimes it's okay to say, I've got standards and I need people to meet that. But if you draw this line in the sand, you need to be prepared for sometimes to end up standing alone. And that's what that means sometimes is by drawing that line in the sand is that if we're inflexible in our style and we look at other people and say they don't measure up, sometimes that means we're alone. And when I was in church recently, I go to church, take my kids to church often. I think there's some really good messages, and this isn't a religious blog, but certainly it's just finding what you need in different locations and sometimes different sources. And for me, sometimes that's church. And I remember the pastor saying that justice is getting what you deserve, and grace is getting what you don't deserve. And when it comes to relationships in our life, I know there's been times when I've done what I feel is dealing someone justice by saying, hey, this person can't be in my life because they haven't lived up to a certain standard that I had. And sometimes that's okay, like I said, but what happens is sometimes you cut relationships off where that person maybe needed something different and that person maybe needed some grace. And I have a person in my life right now, a friend in my life who sometimes doesn't live up to what I would consider expectations, doesn't always reach out, doesn't always return phone calls, things like that. But that person's going through some stuff. And so sometimes I know I've had to reach out more than once and said, hey, this is, in a normal situation, I'd say to myself, this is somebody that I can maintain a friendship with. But I've continued with that friendship and reaching out to that person because I think that person needs that. And so this really came kind of full circle today when the facilitator was talking about changing yourself is really kind of the only true thing you can do, that you can't change other people, and sometimes we need to flex. So I think the big rambling message, thanks for listening, I really appreciate it. The big message though that I wanted to say was when you look at other people in your life, be true to yourself and make sure that you're not setting a bar that's artificial that people can't live up to. So it's okay to be able to say, hey, I deserve to be treated a certain way. But sometimes we need to flex our style. So as you look at people throughout your life this week, I hope you can look at your style and how you're approaching situations and maybe recognize that we all need to flex sometimes. So thanks very much for watching. If you want to read more on the blog, please look at the comments below or the description below. I'll have a link to the blog on Facebook. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great week. Take care.